But you are not like that. Just so you know, we don't have time to go back, but he's referencing the previous verses that we don't have time to read. At the very end, the very previous verse, he said, there's some people who don't believe in God, therefore they don't follow his word. But you are not like that. For you are a chosen people by faith. You are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result of that faith, you can, what's the word? Show others the goodness of God. For he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light. Once you had no identity as a people, now you are God's people. Once you received no mercy, now you receive God's mercy. Dear friends, I warn you, as temporary residents and foreigners. Other versions of the Bible say as aliens in this world. This is not our home. We have an eternal home. As temporary residents, to keep away from worldly desires that wage war against your very souls. Isn't that good? So a convincing faith, not found in what I say, it's found in what I show. And the first thing I got to show in my faith, number one, is this. I need to show a protected faith. I need to show a protected faith. And this presents a problem. This is actually one of the reasons why I think we find so many Christians hiding behind the fence, hiding behind the boundaries or the walls. Because we do need to be protected in our faith. Peter said it. I warn you, keep away from worldly desires that wage war against your soul. So because of that, what do we often do? Well, as Christians, we often run away from the world and we hide behind the fences, the boundaries, the walls that we have created in the hopes that we won't be infected by the sinful world. In fact, I started off the whole series in week number 1 saying this: have we as Christians, have we as the church actually become so afraid of being infected by the world that we've stopped affecting the world? Remember that? But, that's true, by the way, that's a problem. But, okay, this is where it creates an issue in our faith. Just as ineffective as a hidden faith is, and by the way, hidden faith is ineffective. Just as ineffective as a hidden faith is, behind a fence, just guarding myself from ever entering the world, so is a faith ineffective that is not presenting or pursuing the holiness of Christ. It's ineffective. An unprotected faith in the world is an ineffective faith. A protected faith will guard itself, like Peter warns, setting up boundaries and standards for my heart, soul, mind, and body, not to take me out of the world, but to help me keep away from worldly desires while I am in it. It's protected. And by the way, this is not about legalism. This is about lordship. And we need to understand the difference, church. Legalism says, I have to earn God's love. And I earn God's love by doing or avoiding certain things. Lordship says, because I've already received God's love, I want to be as close to His holiness as I possibly can. The first is driven by fear, legalism. The second is driven by faith, lordship. We need lordship in our faith. Sometimes, I feel like we as Christians today, especially in America, are trying to be as much like the world as we possibly can while still being in the Lord, instead of being as much like the Lord as we possibly can while still being in the world. That's good preaching, by the way. When we as Christians begin to partake ourselves in the same exact things the world does, instead of protecting ourselves from those worldly desires, why would the world think they need what we have? Where's the difference? Where is the change in our lives? Like, how is that convincing to anyone that our faith matters if we pretty much live the same way? Peter said, you're not like that. You are temporary residents. Your time is limited. Talked about that. So I warn you, keep away from those worldly desires that wage war against your soul. A convincing faith not found in what I say, it's found in what I show. So what kind of faith should I show? I need a protected faith.